No report from the attorney this month.
Uh, Make a motion to approve the park district expenditures for October 2025 in the amount of $641,618 and
Second that.
Carlson.
I.
What's the motion?
Sorry.
No.
Commissioner Carlson.
I'm still not.
Commissioner
Aye.
Hall.
The executive director report.
Okay, so although the busy summer season is over, we still have a lot of great stuff going on throughout the park district, as we just mentioned. A Trail of Treats occurred on Halloween, October 31st. There's a couple pictures there of people in costumes and some of the great decorations that were out along the trail. The preschool took a nice trip to Kroll's Pumpkin Farm and had a Halloween party. This is our teacher, Miss Belinda, who does a wonderful job with the students. They're having a good school year. Some of the other good pictures we have going on, we have a I Can Cook class here that our Teresa, who's our director of the Special Recreation and Senior Program, she put that class on for them. We had the Kiwanis one-day basketball camp. We partnered with the Kiwanis organization for their fundraiser that was on Saturday, October 18th. I think they had, you know how many they had for that? For the Kiwanis shootout? Yeah, 15 or so kids, which is good. This is one of our staff that work at Herman Park. His name's Rodney. And David Osborne obviously is a big part of that event in partnership with the Kiwanis Club. We do have our youth basketball league that's forming now and coming together. They're playing teams. I think David said they have a scrimmage this Saturday. Maybe they're already scrimmaging. So he's got 16 teams. Yeah, 16 teams is incredible. He's probably at around 100.
That's about usual. That's a good
It's a little bit more.
Yeah. So our basketball program is a great program. That's going to be going on right now through the winter. We have swim classes, swim lessons going on over at the high school in partnership at the natatorium. They had some challenges getting their pool balanced and getting everything right with the chemicals in the water. So that did unfortunately cause us to have to cancel a couple in the beginning. But now, Kay works closely with the athletic director over there, Jack Namy, and communicates with him. So we do have swimming classes on the weekends over at the high school. Fitness studio downstairs continues to do really well as far as attendance and popularity. As we've talked about before, I think this is a good mix here. I think that's a good mix. We've been keeping an eye on that City of Hope number because that's bringing in $3,800 a month for us for our partnership with City of Hope Hospital. So our split between non-resident, resident City of Hope members is pretty much a third, and never feels like, again, the facility is overwhelmed down there. So I think it's been good.
Budgets and know what the primary hours are.
Well, I think it's
always before.
yeah. Then lunchtime, so your busy periods are probably going to be like early morning, lunchtime, noonish, and then after 4:00, 4:30ish. Yeah. This is the diamond at Shiloh Park. You can see staff has started restoring that baseball field. It really got grown over and kind of letting it grown over during all that construction of the Shiloh Park Osland, but we've been working. And, Rich and his team will do more work in the spring to kind of restore that field. No, we weren't going to put grass in the infield, so we can actually kind of allow it to double as like a baseball, softball field.
Will that be open?
Yeah, that'd be open in the spring. This you can picture where that's at, right, Dave? The field. Yeah, you can hit a few baseballs into the lagoon over here in like right center field. Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to stay.
No.
Should we get a game versus township or something?
It would be fun. David Osborne tried to organize one last summer with like all the taxing bodies getting a team. So like police was going to get a team, fire, public works, the park district. We were going to try to, and we were practicing a little bit. And then the couple times that the game was scheduled, it rained, and then it just kind of never came in.
I've been involved with people. That was San Diego Ringers.
Well, yeah.
So you want to work it out. Somebody shows up, says, you don't pay by that.
Yeah, right. Well,
but this was some work.
we were definitely playing by the rules because at the couple practices, our average age was probably about 60. Probably about the average age of our players. So we weren't looking to play the fire department or anything like that. But speaking of, building on Dave's comments on the lakefront, here is a picture of the remaining boardwalk down at Hosa Park.
That's the,
Yeah, it is sad. And Doug, I don't know if you make it down all the way that far on your
I usually go
jogs.
around it down, put farther down, but I need to.
But I mean, this has been completely eroded.
We put the steep
Even in this year, yeah.
Nobody else has that.
Yeah.
In 2026, we start to restore
I don't think we'll be able to restore this because I don't know how we would either A, move it inward to the west, or B, if we put any kind of structure out there, the lake would just act. Yeah. Yeah.
Unless we had like a breakwater or something like farther down.
Yeah.
They would keep, but otherwise you're going to keep out.
Yeah.
Can we go another one on the
Well, I mean, we could, I mean, it would be our property. We could.
Have to be enough
We'd have to.
far into how many years we were
Yeah. Right.
we wouldn't be much on the lake.
Right. And then you'd want to stay away from the Pen A that Kathy Garnis and all of her volunteers work so hard to maintain. So it's a difficult project area.
But once we plot out where it can be,
Right. Right.
Yeah, which
we have to go through the process.
Yeah. There would be some heavy permits I involved with Army Corps of Engineers and Coastal Management and IDNR and
They'll pretty much have to turn the work.
Great Lakes Initiative and all the people that are so involved.
I'm probably very, very helpful. The triple stuff will help you once you get their attention.
Yeah, I bet.
And it's one of the, I love it much as anybody here, but I just, it'd be so much, a lot of work for the number of people that use it.
Yeah.
That's just me being old. I've lived here long enough to say, remember back when we had, that's going to be another thing.
Yeah.
If you could, that's fine, but I can't believe the time I've been involved.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, they've said too, like Kathy Garnis and some of her volunteers and some of the other people that have been studying that, some of that rock wall that the state of Illinois put in, they put in $72 million of rocks, basically, from Illinois Beach State Park, down to Winthrop Harbor. Not even sure if they went farther north, but they feel like that has almost exacerbated the erosion.
What do you do with on the water?
Yeah, I guess. So
What would we do with that?
that's the same. So this kind of makes an L. So this would be leading you to kind of the beach, and then this is this would be like the L portion. So
Yellow taped off, right?
yeah, it's secured off and taped off.
How much beach used to be in front of that boardwalk? Yeah,
Wow.
it's down to nothing.
It's down.
taking the boardwalk.
there was two docks that went off in the water.
That's right. There's another area way that went off to it, and that came off, and then
Yeah.
it just keeps, the lake just takes.
Keeps growing.
I've been down a couple times.
Yeah. And if the Forest Preserve puts on that tour again next year, which I think Doug and I really enjoyed,
Yeah.
I think that'd be a great one to go to as well, to talk, to learn about the whole lake plan, the whole like kind of like.
That's someone down there.
Oh, did he? Yeah, he's down there. Keep an eye on it.
Yeah, you did.
Well, it's
He's
just
thinking.
shaped like a bowl that kind of
And
looks
then when I say that,
the
I
level.
was in Chicago, and I saw we did a freshman year. They talked about how much we as human beings push the lake.
Oh,
We pushed the lake in, and the lake started taking its line back, and it started fighting back, staying. So there's a lot of stuff that, I'm 74. There's a lot of stuff that way before my time we did, and it's moving. And trust me, I'm that guy who loves to be out there. I like seeing those things. I like being able to look at what happened. I was on a field trip Tuesday to used to be my second home, the Museum of Science and Industry, and it's amazing what we keep doing, where we have to live. And sometimes even when we're talking about doing things that aren't good, sometimes I say make us feel good. And nothing against it, but trust me, I'd be out there, I'd watch it. It was so beautiful. But and sometimes in our attempts to do good, are we really doing good or are we really doing bad? Because the lake line where we pushed Lake Michigan in is almost a whole mile away from where it originally was.
oh, no.
And they show us these things where these guys do these maps, and we pushed Lake Michigan, we moved it east almost a mile. It was almost a mile west, further west, the natural lake, the natural line of the lake. Man, we pushed it out for whatever reason.
Was worthwhile to push it out.
Was
Was
it
a worthwhile project.
Yeah, there are people just, whatever economic reasons, wanted to put stuff there. And so they continued to move the line. And it just kept moving. That's why, like, a lot of times on Lakeshore Drive, you see how that water comes over that on Lakeshore at times, like, you like, wow, seriously? I mean, where it would go over, they've come up so high and so far in that they reach those hotels.
One time, ice over.
And they go, you have to close down the whole thing. And the thing is, all it's doing is going back to its natural. It's not like it's being forced. It's going back to its natural.
So, on the committees or meetings that we have, the board can attend to talk about this. Because this is a discussion much more than we have.
Yeah, yeah.
Meeting.
I mean, do we have a committee in relation to that?
Or should we just call them to have a meeting, or visit?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we can always have a site visit. And I know Kathy Garnis would always be willing to give you a tour too and give you her thoughts on it and changes that she's seen over time.
With us here, it's not, there's no development, so it's not like we're developing post and pushing things. Up here, I'm saying it's just the elements, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's a static platform that you can go and look at the water. I mean, you know, so that definitely is happening in the cities. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've done anything because, again, it was pretty passive. You know, you just take a look at nature. The nature's coming closer. You know,
If that's the model, we're very value.
I'm happy to go out there with you anytime if you wanted to, Dave.
We have to look at the calendar.
Yeah.
Just take a look at it. Because it's a huge success. I'm familiar with
Down there on the point, Rainbow Beach.
yeah.
And where Rainbow Beach is and what they call the point is after the Museum of Natural Science and Industry is. They said that was water. They said that was all that. Because I mean, if you're in the museum, you can almost throw a rock into the lake. They said where that building sits is water.
Okay, well, that's it. We can move on to new business number 9. Talk about David Park. Scott's here.
Move up, Scott.
I think it's cool. I'll flip to Scott's presentation, but I think it's cool to see our park master plan, on the left there that the board had approved a couple years ago, and then, kind of see it come to life with this drone shot here. This picture was probably from at least 6 weeks ago or so. I think it's a Scott's presentation.
All right. Now you're just gonna hear me yapping. So thank you for having me tonight. This project has been a lot of fun for me. It's been a privilege to work with these two guys and for the community of Zion to bring them this park. I haven't done a lot of park work in my past life, but this one was fun. And there were a lot of elements that I got to do that were new. And at my age and at the end of my career, that was saying something, right? I've been doing this for almost 45 years, so it's great to be able to do this, and it will be good to add to my resume for my future job with you. So while that says the finish line, we haven't crossed it yet, and we won't probably until next year sometime. And I'll explain about that later. So the last time I gave an update to the board, this is where we were at. So that was in June, should be 25, that they seeding and hydro mulching the field. And June's not a really good time for seeding because unless you have irrigation, not a lot's going to grow, right? You need water to be able to get it to grow. And there were attempts to water it that didn't go very well. Go to the next one. And the last time I was here, we just had introduced the skate park theme to you. While this was the first alliteration, there was massaging of it because some of the conversation that we had with Spawn Ranch was what level of skater can use this? Because I envision all skaters, regardless of level, being able to use this. And this first design was more for intermediate or more advanced skaters. So there had to be some changes made. And as a group, we had met several times and worked very hard on changing it out. And I have some great pictures of the project. Next one. So this was in August, August 6th this year. And you can see what I mean about the amount of growth that is there, or in this case, not there. At this stage, there was a little bit of concrete that was poured. The basketball courts were done, and the back part of the paving of the path was paved, but there was still a lot more to do. So, and then they started pouring concrete around the service building as well. All the base for the path had been done, but there was a lot of discussion with Landworks about their schedule, and it was really hard to get them to commit to giving us a schedule. But we kept pushing them. Every meeting we had, we pushed for them to give us a schedule so that we could see where they were at. So, let's go to the next one. So again, same date. This one is a really good picture of what's not growing. And it's not growing, again, because it's not getting irrigation. So the park district, very wisely, let's go to the next one, uh, decided to move forward. So the 6th of August, around the 6th of August, we had a meeting with Landworks and asked them to reseed the field. Because really the best time in the fall to seed is the 15th of August to the 15th of September. So it was a really good time to do that. As you can see, this is the 9th of September that they came in and reseeded. However, the difference was having this machine and this man sitting at the end of the table, because it was all of his efforts being out there, staying on top of this, and keeping this thing running, that we're able to continue the irrigation on the field and really help with its success of it growing in.
Yeah, and I would just add too, real quick, like we can't emphasize enough how Rich, just took the bull by the horns in this situation and said, "I'll get it done." That is his attitude when it comes to the park district and its needs. And seeing the prior pictures that Scott showed, Rich was just like, "You know what? This is going to take some extra effort, and I'm going to do it."
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah. So again, this is the same date and time period. You can see how this device, this called a Kifco water reel, you pull the sprinkler cart all the way down to the end, and it reels itself back into the reel and shuts itself off when it's done. It takes about 6 hours, right, to run that course, and then Rich would go out there and move it over to the next spot to keep the moisture on it. And during this time period, it's been a very dry year for us. It's important to keep the moisture on there to get the seed to pop. But then once the seed does pop, it's important to keep the irrigation going, keep it growing, right? So let's go to the next one. So this is just kind of a closer shot of, you can see now, this is the 9th of September, and all the path parts have been paved, the concrete around the service building, and now they're forming more sidewalk in the area on the north side of the service building to try to get all of that stuff finished up. There's also been a lot of landscape material that's been planted in along the parking lot and on these back areas back here. There's some really nice beds as well. Just another shot looking to the south of the overall on that same date. So see this 9/15. So what was it? How many days later was that? Maybe a week? You can see how much grass is starting to grow just from him being out there and irrigating. We did ask them to fertilize it as well. You can see actually the pattern of the growth, because they were supposed to plant it in two different directions. So they planted in this direction, and then they planted at a 45-degree angle against the first one. You actually have two different seedings, if you will, at 5 pounds per 1,000 square feet. So there's quite a bit of seed that's been put down on that field.
Wow.
So this is a month later. Part of the issue was when they came out and fertilized, they used a residential fertilizer spreader that you walk behind. This is almost 5 acres, and they walked it. The problem is it's impossible to calibrate it accurately, and that's why all of this is striped. So you're getting areas of the turf that are not getting fertilization properly, and there's other areas that are getting over-fertilized because he's overlapping too much. So We talked to them about that and asked them to come back and do another round of fertilization. So my goal was to try to get this thing fertilized every 30 days. And so in the meantime, we had also taken soil tests in to see where we were at. And you really need a soil test to drive what you're going to do in the future for your maintenance plan. Because if you don't know what's going on in the dirt, you can't really help the dirt, right?
So like Scott said too, I mean, this was really a hands-on project, team effort where it's not just like let the contractor go, and then, oh, we'll check when it's done. This is a continual weekly meetings and things like that and saying, okay, you fertilized, but we have some concerns. We need these corrections made. So it was a continual like that throughout the project.
So just another shot from a different angle. This is looking north. You can now see the basketball courts have been painted, and the backboards and stuff are up. I think you even get a little peek at there's some activity going in the corner here where the skate park is starting to happen. This actually at that point it had gotten pretty far. Let's go to the next one. Again, just a shot looking south at the soccer field. So you'll see in later pictures, the soccer field area is now fenced off. It has had another round of fertilization, elemental sulfur, and we put elemental sulfur down because the pH level was too high in the soil, and we're trying to bring that down. What that does is it gives the turf a better chance of growing, and any nutrients that you put down, it actually lets it absorb into the root of the plant. PH level is too high, it keeps that from happening. So skate park. This is September 9th. We started having conversations with Spawn Ranch probably in March or April.
Yeah.
Eric had asked me to try to find a place. They really want to try to get the park done this year. So there's no more construction. All the construction would be done. You wouldn't have to worry about anybody else coming. So it was really important to Eric to try to get this done this year. So I started doing research and I found a couple. American Ramp was one of them, who's done a lot of projects here in Illinois. But then I found Spawn Ranch as well. And both American Ramp and Spawn Ranch were co-op contractors, which really helped not having to go through the bid process for the park. The Spawn Ranch contractor already had 3 projects that were going in Illinois this year. So for him, he said, if you want me to do it, I can do it. It would help because then he doesn't have to mobilize his crew who's already here in the state of Illinois. The company is in California. So right now, this is DK, the excavating contractor, who's doing all of the rough grading to get ready for these guys to come in. So by the time the project or the plan was approved was probably the final.
Yeah, I think the board approved the skate park layout probably in July or August was the time that we had brought the concept design to the board.
And Spawn Ranch had committed to starting in late September or early October, and their original schedule had them not finishing until almost Thanksgiving. But that project actually was pushed up, and they were done by the end of October. So that's. So this is an aerial shot of when the rough grading was completed. So you can see the kind of the bowl and some of the areas that are taking shape. And this is dirt only, right? Now we're waiting for Spawn Ranch to get here and start doing the work on this. So there was a lot of forming. We can go to the next one. Here they're installing all of the steel rails that they'll be able to use. And these are all set in concrete, so they're not going to move. And then everything else is formed around it. Let's go to the next one. So there it is, completely formed, right? This is steel rebar rod that's been formed into these areas, and they're going to put concrete into it. And they have to pour it in several different days in a row. So yeah, let's go next. The 16th. So here it is, the 20th, and they're doing the first pour. The reason for the delay, one was weekend, the other one they got rain, and they had to wait a couple of days to be able to get in there. And now it has turned a little bit on the cold side, and they're putting an additive into the concrete, so when temperatures drop below freezing at night, it doesn't fall or crack. So this is day one, and they've poured this part of the bowl, this ramp, and this box right here have all been done the first day. So the next one.
And these guys were incredible. I mean, that's all they do is build skate parks around the country.
Yeah, and the beauty of what these guys do, these finishers are, they also skated. So they know what they want to feel underneath their feet. And because of that, they were just fantastic finish.
How big is the concrete?
What's that?
How big is that?
6 inches.
Wow.
And if you recall too, so the board approved the project budget on this was $475,000. That's what the total was.
Yeah, no change orders.
Yeah, no change orders actually.
Yeah.
These guys were great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is day two, and this is the very back or the very east part of the park, the ramp on that side. And I wanted to share this photo with you because this is how they were installing the concrete. This is called spraycrete. You see how far this guy is leaning forward? That's because out of that nozzle is 2,000 psi coming out of that nozzle. So he's leaning into it, and if it stops working, he's going to fall into the concrete. So this guy was really good. They brought him in. He's actually from Ohio, but that's all he does is go around the country and spray concrete. He talked me into trying it, and we'll talk about that in a couple more pictures. So this is day two. One of the other things they did on day two from the first day is they would come in and they would snap these lines and then saw cut into the concrete to give it relief. So, because concrete moves, right? So you got to have relief cuts every so often. So they would go the day after that they would pour, they would come in, snap the lines, and the guy would go with a concrete saw and cut the lines in to give it relief. Okay, the next one. This is the next day. So pour two. Okay, so you see, this is what they poured on the second day. I didn't do any aerials on the second day, but this is what they were pouring, and this is what the guy was shooting in that picture where you saw him leaning forward. So day three, they poured this triangle and this part of the ramp here. This area here is what I sprayed. So if it fails, you can blame me. So this is day four. They're pouring the outside edge of the bowl and the top of this, and they're getting ready to pour this all in the same day. So the only thing that will be left for day five is this area and this area. So this is day five. You can see the lines I was talking about, how they snap a chalk line, and then they come back with the saw and cut each one of those individual lines. So they've gotten this side done. They're going to pour this one a little bit later after they get all of this stuff finished and set. So can you go backwards? Try the back arrow on your keyboard. Yeah, there you go. Keep going back. Keep going. Okay. So the machine that's blowing all that pressure out is right here. Here's the concrete truck and the chute going into it, and it dumps into it, and he actually has a remote control on his side that he can determine when the concrete should be dumped into that machine. This compressor is adding the air to it as well. And so he sets that up every day and then has to clean it every day when it's done. Pretty cool machine. That thing right there is 100 grand. Okay.
You take it home with them each night, or do they?
That stayed on site, and then he, set it up the next day. So, yeah. So this is finished. This is the day we did our punch list walkthrough with them. Just a beautiful job. I mean, again, I'm not a skate park expert, but it was apparent that these guys took a lot of pride in the work that they did, and it's shown here, right? And I think the community and even surrounding communities, once they see that this is here, my understanding is there's already been some people in the community who have attempted to use it. So this turned out, I think, just turned out beautiful.
Yeah, but it was cool too. Like Scott said, all the guys that were working on it were skateboarders and are skateboarders, and so they skated on it a little bit when they were done. They were proud of it. They had fun
And,
with
and
it.
every detail that's in here, I mean, when they got done pouring the concrete, so these pipe sections came in pieces. They had them custom made in California and shipped out here. But then they had to be welded on site. So after all the concrete was poured, they then came back and cleaned the metal again and then repainted everything that was on it. I mean, it was just phenomenal, the work that they did. So again, just a different shot from a different angle. This is kind of looking back from the house along 21st Street.
And we put some of these shots on Facebook and had pretty good, positive, kind of excited feedback from the community.
And as a test, this is one of the guys who was a finisher on the job who, hey, while you're here, you have your board, just run it so we can get some pictures. And so that's that was his takeoff point right there. So this is today. They finished paved the parking lot. You can see this area and the back area are done. When I left today, they were just getting this area completed. And when I drove past it tonight, the lights were on and it really looks nice. It's a beautiful park. It turned out really nice.
It really did.
Let's go to the next one. So just an overall picture of the entire park. You can see the area around the skate park now has been seeded and blanketed. Hopefully we won't get any warm enough weather that it'll start growing grass. Because if the grass is too young, it'll wipe it out. They're gonna have to reseed. You can see the field's getting a little bit darker and a little more turf covered. We did have a contractor come in and put down another round of fertilizer. I'm curious as to now it's striped the other direction. And did he overlap too much when he put it down, or not enough? So
Yeah, I was gonna say that'll be the work. I know one of your last slides has it, but getting that field in shape and continuing to grow the grass in 2026 is why that portion of the park wouldn't be quite open. You can see the construction fence around it.
yeah, and there's still areas that are in here that are really thin on grass growth. It may take another seeding or something next year, but to really make this field successful and to be able to use it in the fall, it's really going to take, again, a maintenance plan that's going to be driven by soil testing, and also every 30 days give it a treatment of fertilizer. You really got to feed it when it's this young, and to keep it strong and keep it growing. And aeration. I mean, there's a bunch of cultural practices that will need to be done. It's just not mowing. Getting your grass to grow on an athletic field and keeping it up is more than just mowing. There's a science to it. Again, another area shot looking north overall of the field.
And how many fields would be there?
You can get, it depends on the size, but you can get 2 full-size fields out of here.
It was designed for 2 soccer fields going north-south.
Yeah, there's a heavy grade break right down the center, and then it slopes this way or slopes that way, and so it would be hard to turn it the other direction, to rotate the field, which would really be nice to do.
There's no parking by the, everything that's like, all your equipment that you carry.
Well, there's in the service building, they can store some equipment in there. Rich kept a utility vehicle and the Kifco water reel in there while he was using it. So I'm going to guess that a mower will probably have to be transported over there to mow it with.
I'm just thinking that coaching, and we actually, so line the field, that'll be done by us, right? Fields will be lined once we're done. That won't be, I mean, Ag's out there, they do a very good job, but I mean, is that something that's gonna be kept up by us, or will that be?
Well, yeah, by us. Yeah, we're working on looking into like Scott has a contact that is a guy that's like his business. I don't know, side business or whatever, but he lines fields.
He has a device called a turf tank. It is a robotic sprayer that's hooked to GPS, and he'll come the first time around, and maybe charge you like $300 a field to lay it out and mark it. You can't buy the paint and send a guy out there to lay it out and do it for less than that, right? It makes good sense. I used them when I was at the schools, and I've sent him to other places as well, just because he's saving time and money. And then if you wanted to, you can try to keep it up on your own, or you can go back and refresh it.
Yeah, the convention.
Yep,
I
yep,
guess that
yep.
is the robotic.
Yeah.
That's the one.
We have a perfect location the way to put a side of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Places that have problems and stuff. Yes, we have. And please,
I don't.
It's not a given.
I've never had a problem. He's never had a problem. Because if you think about it, most of your athletic fields are wide open, not going to have any trees in them anyway. So, but yeah, it's really worth having him come out and do it. You just have to decide on what size field that you're going to put out there, right? And let him know before he comes out. So let's go to the next one. So what's next? We have put together a punch list. Landworks has been working on knocking a few things off on it. A lot of material that was planted out there this fall, because it wasn't getting watered, I don't think is going to fare very well. But there is a warranty on the landscape material, and anything that doesn't survive, they're going to have to come back and replace. The gate installation, the posts have been installed, but the gate has not yet been installed coming into the main entrance. That still has to be done. Electrical fixtures inside the building still have to be done. Everything outside has been completed as far as the parking lot lights and stuff go. Again, I drove past it tonight. It looks really nice from the street. So, the drinking fountain, the connection for that got a little messed up. They had to come back and break out the concrete, move the line, install a drain, and the drinking fountain still has to be installed, but everything that's there now is correct. I'm assuming sometime next spring you'll have a ribbon cutting ceremony. That would be great. And then, as Eric had said earlier, really work on keeping the maintenance practices and stuff up on that soccer field so it's ready for the fall.
A lot of Forest retirement to join us for the ribbon cut.
Yeah, so
Yeah, we'll definitely invite them and
yeah, Gaywalt
invite everybody that was part of the project.
Hamilton is trying to figure out a way to contract me to stay working there. so that like this project kind of run into next year for closeout, that I would still be available to still come here and help try and get the project closed out because I've been there almost for the entire project. So GHA sees the value of that. I just don't want to work 40 hours a week. So so we're working on a contract where I will be a consultant for them and be able to still be involved in this project. If it's okay with you guys. So yeah, and I hope I'm around still, even in the fall when the field's ready to be played on. I hope I'm still around.
I appreciate your efforts. It's been helpful. And I was at first skeptical of the presentation, but over time you were definitely one of the make well.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Exciting, one of the best things I've seen here. I have a couple questions just to remind me how much walking path.
What's the distance of it?
Half-mile loop. It's a loop. It is a loop.
And you line the parking lot, I'm assuming, how many cars?
Yes.
How many cars could be there at a time? What's the capacity?
I think when we put the plan together, the capacity was for about 155 spaces.
There's no way to know usage of the parks too, right? It's not like we have some cities that, I mean,
Right.
the organized game show though, because they'll have to go through, right?
Yeah.
Like Vegas or whatever, they're not gonna just show up. Schedule. So you have some knowledge of that,
Yeah, and don't forget too, when we were putting the plan together, we did contemplate, another exit like up here on the east end that was discussed during the project plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, up in that northeast corner, we had talked about that. But then as we started getting into what that would entail with like IDOT and the county and everyone else, it just that alone was going to start to push it way beyond our budget. I mean, and we were concerned that the county was going to require us to put in like a deceleration lane or a turn lane on 21, which we'd have to pay for. So we're hoping that this kind of single entry exit is too much of a bottleneck. Yeah, if I know,
I think the only time you're really going to see anything bottled up will be if you have a soccer tournament there, and there's a lot of people that are attending that. When the games rotate, you may see a lot of traffic going in and out of it. But other than that, I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Any other thoughts or questions?
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
yeah.
Thanks for coming.
I appreciate the opportunity, and I hope you guys have a great holidays.
You too. Enjoy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. 24 people coming, so
Yeah, you better start
I
cooking.
got a lot of cooking.
Go home and start cooking.
Moving on with the agenda here, item number 10, approval of the omnibus agreement.
Yeah, so if you recall, Start Early is the group that came here with a team of about 4 or 5. This is for the Early Education Center.
Thanks.
Thank you, Scott.
We'll see you.
Thank you. That's for the Early Education Center that's going to be built there next to Shiloh Golf Course. This is the agreement that they've been working on. The project was delayed a little bit because of they were concerned about project funding at the federal level and things like that. It's going to be about a $30 million facility. So this is the omnibus agreement finally got through, and it's an omnibus because it involves us, the city, and School District 6. So we would be the first entity to pass it, and then they'll move it on to the other boards. And they took the feedback from the board the last time they were here, and I believe worked into the agreement a lot of your concerns with regards to the liability issues, the maintenance of the basin as far as if it didn't perform correctly structurally and things like that. Obviously, we'll do kind of like the daily maintenance of it, but our attorney has reviewed it and has been providing feedback to their attorney and feels confident in how the agreement stands today.
point for us, or
Yeah.
Do it, please.
Yes, so I recommend, that the board approve approve the park district portion of the omnibus agreement with Lake County. The full agreement is in there. And then there's some pictures here too, just to refresh everybody's memory of what the detention basin, kind of like where it's gonna go. That's a good shot. So Ken, this would be like hole 6 of Shadow Golf Course next to the school, running that perimeter. So your tee box, Ken, would be this Bethel. Your tee box where you're teeing off from now is like right in here, and so it's this area of the course.
And for the most part, it's water retention of our park.
Yeah, that's its purpose. Yeah.
move.
Second.
Almost.
Rouse,
Aye.
Number 11, the FY 26-27 tax levy ordinance. For tax year 2025.
Yep. So this, if you recall from last meeting, we brought the estimated levy. We presented the estimated levy and discussed that. So these numbers have not changed from the estimated levy. We haven't had any new information from the county. This is actually the approval of the final levy ordinance, which is putting all those numbers that we looked at last time into this levy ordinance document, which is the official document that we then file with the county.
That's the last one. That's the last
Mhm. Yeah, so it's kind of like a 3-month process almost. We do the estimate, then we do the final levy, and then that gets filed with Lake
Have a number in that motion or two?
County. I think you could say the levy ordinance. You could say for a total tax levy amount, um, and as presented. Um, if you wanted to reference the total levy amount of 3,503,250.
Against 3,500,000. Alex is make a motion. Tax year 2025, in the amount of $3,503,250.
Rouse,
Aye.
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 Item 12, approval of quote to replace the rooftop heating units at the Shiloh Center.
Yeah, so while Rich was performing preventative maintenance on the HVAC rooftop units over at Shiloh Center, he noticed a cracked heat exchanger on the building's east unit. And also this summer, the building's west rooftop unit experienced a refrigerant leak. So Rich has been working with McDonough Mechanical to replace those rooftop units at the Shiloh Center. And Rich can elaborate on this further. If you have any questions with him. I do feel like we got a good price on those considering how expensive they could be. There's the quote in here from McDonough Mechanical. So the total cost is $31,036 for that includes the rooftop units and the labor to install them. Do you have any questions? Rich is more than the expert on it.
Which house? Houses.
At or beyond the life you expect, right? I mean,
Most of it. Motion for to approve the roof units, please, and Channel Center.
Motion to approve the replace the rooftop heating channel center for the common mechanical services in the amount of $31,036.
And if there's no question, we'll start the roll call.
Harrison.
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Arnold.
Aye.
President for me.
Aye.
You're the one I
No. Oh.
I'm entertaining approval of estimated travel expenses for the 2026.
Yeah, so this is similar to kind of what we had presented for the state IAPD conference. So I think it was last month when we approved the travel expenditures for the state conference down to Chicago. Um, this conference in Orlando, which is the PGA show, is held basically at about the same time, and so our golf staff get more value out of going down to the PGA show. They've actually have gone in the past and have brought back some of the good ideas that they've seen, whether it's Tag Marshall or the Golf Genius software that they've implemented at the course. So this memo lays out kind of the approved travel expenditures, which include the estimated cost for flights round trip from Chicago to Orlando, estimated cost per night for hotels, the meal per diem. Um, I would expect we would have two golf staff go. I think, Kara's definitely going to go. Alan may go. And they may bring two staff members with them. So this is requesting potential up to four golf staff. I would estimate it would be more like two, maybe three. But again, the memo lays out, like in accordance with the local government travel act, that we have to kind of pre-approve these kind of estimated travel expenditures. So that's the purpose of it. If there's any questions on it,
It's approving this document.
because they're just all like estimated travel expenses, right? So
Any estimated dates on
yeah, the show
there?
takes
It's January 20.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's
I got it.
So I think there's no specific dollar amounts. It's the estimated travel. Yes. Right.
And these estimates come from what you were saying?
These estimates come from what Kara and Alan estimated. Like looking at flights, looking at hotel rooms for the conference. Our meal per diem is the same as we had approved last month for staff when we travel. Any mileage reimbursement would be in accordance with the IRS standard mileage reimbursement rate. But like the whole idea of this day is from the local government travel, like the local government travel act or something like that. I think it was put into effect about 6 or 8 years ago to kind of like approve travel expenses, so governments aren't going on taking 10 people to Las Vegas.
That's stated. That's stated.
I don't think so. I don't think that act is stated in here. No, I don't. No, the act is not.
Did you use your influence to move the Chicago conference to
I
Orlando?
wish.
Couldn't quite that much.
No. No, but there's a lot of great value for our people to attend this and bring it back and use that knowledge and product demos and all that kind of stuff.
I agree.
It's not just a fun, vacation to Orlando, which we all love to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Actually, when I was that one that time.
Yeah, I bet. Very much. Better than Chicago.
Yeah, it did. So we get a motion on the table for
Carlson.
Aye.
Aye. President.
the national delegates who represent the Park District at the IABA annual business meeting.
So this is the business meeting that's held on kind of the last day of the conference down in Chicago. We go through this process every year where we designate the delegates from the park district, which are usually, they want four in total delegates, but really only one kind of needs to attend. I think last year, I don't know if Jesse was the first delegate, I can't remember, but yeah, IAPD requests that we fill this out and provide it back to them. Each. Mhm. Is allowed to have one.
We'll all be done, so, just as last year, we rotated, delegate this year.
Sure.
And rotated, so everybody has the same experience. So, just what did you
Usually I go.
If you want,
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of like think of it as like an annual shareholder meeting or like an annual meeting like that where they're.
Can you list it all?
I can list all of us, and we can all attend,
Yeah.
and everyone can be listed as first delegate, second delegate, that kind of thing. So, but everyone's welcome to attend.
9 a.m.
No, I thought it was at the end of the
No,
day, wasn't it, Jess?
yeah, that's at 3.
Yeah, like
As long as it's left early.
3 o'clock-ish. I know a lot of times people are worn out by the time this comes up, so.
I would be there for the picture. And early. Don't worry.
How long is the meeting? How long is
We have.
Starts at 3:30, and then, I mean, again, it's just allowing us to have a vote at the table
Yeah.
of IAPD,
the if you're willing,
any
right?
changes they make to the organization.
I will be there for the picture.
Okay,
Okay, then.
Jesse would be first, and then we need a first alternate, second alternate, third alternate.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. First, Jesse's first. Jesse, okay. Dave was second.
So if you want to, if you want to get knocked off.
Look out there and they'll say, "Where's
Yeah,
Doug?
that's
If
correct.
you want to vote."
And then I'll speak that
Right, what's up? I'm sure we can take a vote just to.
This is the.
Yeah, I would agree. So ultimately, Dave has to sign this, and I'll send it into IT.
Okay, so moving on, we're gonna continue with executive session.
He got me there.
Oh, yeah, read the.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Make a motion that we go into executive session for the purpose of the board discussing employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of employees pursuant to section 2C1 of the Illinois Open Meeting Act.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
On the executive session.